Trevor Bauer makes his much-anticipated Dodger debut against the Rockies. You all know the Trevor Bauer, the big contract, the numbers, and let's take a look at some other numbers, including xWOBA. And I don't have to tell you what xWOBA is, right? I think it's been well documented. I mean, you're talking, it accounts for launch angle, hard hit percentage. Trevor Bauer, among the minimum 200 batters faced, he tops this list. Second, Shane Bieber. Look who's third, Jacob deGrom. Trevor Bauer checking in with an average of 225. All right, D-Row, Carlos, what should we be looking for tonight when Bauer makes his debut?
A lot of swing and miss, obviously. I think for me, Carlos, I take it back to like days getting loose underneath with the San Francisco Giants. They had the Iron Mike machine, right? And I don't care how hard, if I'm right here, I don't care how hard you turn that thing on. You take a swing and scoot up. Take a swing and scoot up, right? You could throw it 150 miles an hour because you knew what? It was going to be on the same plane every time. And if I could get my bat head on that plane, it doesn't matter. What does he do? He makes your life an absolute nightmare as a hitter because he creates so much spin on every pitch that he throws that he's playing on a whole different plane than every other pitcher's playing on. Take a look at this. Four-seam fastball. He's got a 3.9-inch difference, a rise. That's first. So what does that mean? Okay? You talk about tracking a heater all the way into the zone. Eventually, just over time, gravity, it's going to drop a little bit. What does his do? Spinning so hot that it stays, almost gives the illusion of a rise ball.
Rice effect.
Take a look at the curveball. You could almost, if you see it enough times, you start to pick up spin, rotation, how it's going to dive. If it's nasty, what does his do? It's picking up more rotation at the top of the food chain and breaking off and snapping off, and you can't pick up where to make contact. Same could be said for the slider. I mean, these are dramatic what he's doing. So I want to take you behind the scenes a little bit. Let's have some ABs with him and dive into Trevor Bauer and what potentially Colorado is going to be dealing with. First off, embarrassment of riches. The fact that this guy gets to go to the Dodgers. But back that up real quick. Back that up real quick. That's in real time. Okay? Leave that for a second until I get set. It's the violence of the spin. It's woo! It's not a roller that you saw yesterday. The name eludes me, but Tyler O'Neill took a Cincinnati reliever's hanging breaking ball and hit a 3-run bomb. Where are you catching this? Run it right here, Luke. I mean, that thing's like down and in the zone. You see that right there? That's got, keep going. Run it.
Yeah,
that's that thing. Just
nasty.
Nasty. Right here, this has got outer half, and it's so nasty, it's bouncing in the other batter's box. Tim Anderson, one of the best hitters in the game, can't pick it up. He embarrasses great hitters because his ball has got such nasty life and such nasty spin on it, even with his heater. So pause this. I want to make a point. I'm not picking on Michael Wacha. I want to understand what the average amongst big league fastballs looks like. Give me the average. Michael Wacha right here, the average spin rate on a heater. Run this. So you'll be able to pick that up. Gary Sanchez, even though he blows him a high heater by him right there, you're almost able to stay on plane, where Christian Stewart, that ball almost has an elevation to it.
A little rise effect.
Kyle Hendricks with the breaking ball. Got a good one. Didn't show it as much yesterday. Had a rough start to the season, but he's got a good breaking ball. The rotations and the spin. I mean, that ball is bouncing right behind home plate, and he's getting swing and a miss. Adam Pleko up in Cleveland right here on a little breaking ball slider cutter piece down and away. What does Trevor Bauer do? He spins it hotter and harder, and there's nothing you can do. It's gone.
That's a great take right. That last pitch right there to Braun. That's a great look.
What's interesting about him is when you watch him, he's mastered his craft so well that it's hard to game plan against him because he's not giving you heaters and heater counts. You can't get 2-0 1-0, 3-1, work yourself back in and guarantee yourself a fastball. Because I almost feel like he thinks I can throw any pitch anytime for a strike and it's going to be nasty.
I tell you, Dero, he was walking around with an effective velocity book underneath his arm at 14 years old.
Really?
This guy's one of the most studious.
Come back over here.
Studious pitchers in the game, and you just showed that breaking pitch, and you talked before that about the rising fastball. How do you pair those two up? I mean, think about it. Rising fastball. So you better get on top of it.
You get on top of it, and I know people of today's generation don't want to think that, but you swing through this thing enough, you're like, man, do I have to come almost thinking like
you have to swing above it. You almost have to think, well, not you almost, you have to think, swing above it and miss it. So whenever you see a fastball at the top of the zone,
say that a couple times.
Swing and miss over the top of it, you won't be able to because you are gauging it lower than it truly is because of that Rice effect. A guy like Bauer on that fastball, if I'm facing him, I'm thinking, I'm missing one ball above. One ball above. I'm going to get on the speed, one ball above. And if you try to cover the curveball and the fastball, you're out of luck. You got to pick one. Because that curveball that you showed, it's going to look like that fastball.
Right out of the same.
What are you going to do? It's out of the same tunnel.